you know, they're very honourable. They're like honourable warriors, and you know, they always fight for what's right. Anyway, after those slew of cutscenes, it's what are we doing now? Good morning, Whitey. I think we go straight to the next dungeon. I'm pretty sure. Or maybe we don't. No, I guess we have to do more basic missions. Oh boy, my favourite part of this game, the basic missions. Anyway, so now we can actually go over to this side and we can go visit Magnemite and the power plant, which is just, yeah, it's still running, so I guess the Pokemon have managed to figure out how to run this thing themselves. So anyway, you can visit a bunch of friend areas all around the place. Like Turtle Shell Pond here. Which there's no one in because we haven't recruited anyone else. Recruiting Pokemon in this game, as far as I'm aware, you know, there may be some thing that you can do in the post-game I'm not really sure of, is it's super annoying because the only way that you can recruit a Pokemon is if you go back to a previous dungeon and you have to beat... Also, yeah, we can't evolve because conditions don't let Pokemon evolve as of late, which is strange. Anyway, what's the name? In order to recruit a Pokemon, you have to go back to a previous dungeon that you've gone through before, and you need to beat a Pokemon, and you know, only once you beat them, there's a chance, not a guarantee, but a chance that they will ask to join you. But even then, when they do join you, they're going to be tagging alongside you for the rest of your trip in the dungeon, which is... So, yeah. It's very annoying, and trying to recruit everyone, I imagine, is a pain. So, yeah, watch yourselves. So anyway, I'll show it off here. I get Magnemite to join the team. Also, yeah, we just came from the ruins. So I'm guessing this island, or it's a pretty big continent, was previously inhabited by humans, but I guess they just left for one reason or another. So, you know, and the Pokemon just sort of thrived on what's left of their civilization, so yeah, that's strange. Anyway, we've got another mission to do here, so... Already reached our destination floor, which is good. I think we have 2 missions to do here. I'm gonna go check the objectives, I think, yeah. On the 2nd floor and 3rd floor. The basement floors, anyway. Oh yeah, what's annoying about rescuing Pokemon is that they always run around erratically. So, you know, if you want to talk to them, rescue them, you have to catch up to them, which is annoying. Yeah, it's annoying. Anyway, I'll take a swig of water here. But, yeah, if you want to get the side missions out of the way quickly, then, you know, they're randomly generated, but if you just want to get to the next main story part, then the best way to do that is to just, you know, pick a mission in one of the earlier dungeons, or pick 2 or 3 from the same dungeon, preferably in the earlier dungeon, or in a earlier dungeon. So yeah, Tiny Woods there, very short dungeon. You don't really get good rewards, as you know you would expect, but you know, you get to move on, which is most important, I suppose. Rescue points there, they, you know, if you get enough points, you go up a rank, so you go from bronze, or nothing, as we are at the moment, normal rank, to bronze to silver to gold. I don't think there's platinum or anything above. So, yeah, you need to You don't have to, but the higher your rank, the better items will be sold to you, I think. And you can get some pretty good items if you're even silver. So, yeah, and I don't even know what you get for gold, but anyway, Pokemon news is kind of useless because by the time you always get these letters or these pieces of news, you already know about that mechanic. So, it talks about accepting jobs there. Accepting jobs in this game is painful because what it requires is that, well, it's not really painful, but it's very confusing and odd. What it requires that you do is you have to not look for the job, and then you have to, you know, go into it, and well, you don't have to go into it and look at the info. You have to look for the job, select accept, and that will make it so it won't disappear, you know, the next day that you come back. It'll stay in your job list menu, and from there you can't just go into the dungeon and expect the mission to be there waiting for you. No, from there you have to go into your job list, and then you can you have to press take job, which will allow you to finally go ahead and do the mission. So it's very cumbersome. It should have been, you know, instead of pressing accept here, it should have just said like pin or save the mission, so that way you can do it later. But no, instead it's very weirdly worded and cumbersome, so strange. Anyway, we are gonna go in and walk back into Thunderwave Cave and do 3 more missions and, you know, progress the plot, maybe. So I was wrong, there's actually 3 occasions where you have to do this mandatory side quest stuff. I mean, at least we get to listen to Thunderwave Cave's music. It's pretty neat. So yeah, actually, yeah, as Lombre said earlier, we can't evolve, or no one's been able to evolve since the natural disasters have been happening, which has been going on for, I assume, about 3 weeks or something like that. Maybe 2 or 3 weeks before the game starts. So yeah, there's just been natural disasters happening, which is a very Pokemon problem. I do like that. I love that the problem's not, you know, humans invading or any of that. No, humans are sort of just disregarded in this game, which is fine by me. Because this is a story about the Pokemon. Instead, you know, it's a very natural problem. It's a problem to do with nature, you know, that I'm sure a lot of I know that a lot of animals have to deal with. And of course that's natural disasters, and they've been happening quite a lot lately, so that it, you know, inconveniences our community. So yeah, even on these side missions I just sort of explore around a little bit, not all the way, but that's only because I am being conscious of the amount of experience that I have. I want to get as much experience as I can, because it's not that hard to fall behind in levels in this game. So watch yourself. You want to fight just about everything you come across. And you know, that's why I sort of advise against just rushing through a bunch of side missions, is because, you know, you're gonna go behind on experience, if only for a little bit. That's still enough to you know, set you behind, and you really don't want to get behind in levels in this game, because grinding in this game is just it's the worst. It's seriously the worst. You know, we found Spearow here. That's our first mission done for this visit to Thunderwave Cave. Yeah, the problem with Problem with these side missions is nothing to really commentate over. Generally, the longest a dungeon should take you to complete, a main dungeon, on average, some of the later dungeons, oh, hang on, let's just do it by the most average amount of time it will take you to complete a dungeon is about 15 minutes, I'd say, maybe a little. It depends, obviously, by how far into the game you are and how many floors the dungeon has, but 15 minutes is generally right. I think the last dungeon should take about half an hour to beat. Thankfully, there is a midway point through the dungeon, not really midway, but closer to the end of the dungeon, which lets you save and fully restore, so that's good. But yeah, also if you ever find stuff like a gravel rock or a or like a pecha berry, cherry berry, stuff like that, items that you aren't really going to need, pick them up if you've got plenty of inventory space. But if you're running low in space, just leave them, because you really don't need them. However, if it's like a max elixir like we just got there, or a even an apple, or especially a reviver seed, if you can find those in dungeons, definitely pick those up and just put them in storage if you don't need them, because they aren't super rare, because you can generally buy those things. You can buy revive seeds, big apples, max elixirs, orange berries. Those are your big 4 items that you'll need. You can buy those, but not all the time. The items that are in the shop are always randomized, somewhat. Anyway, the next morning. Good morning. Let's do good again today. Is this the place where that team named Slippy Nips is based? There's nothing here. Depressing, isn't it? There's no question mark there. Who'd run a rescue team from a dump like this? Unbelievable. Who are you people? Oh, over there, a mailbox. Check it out. Now wait a second, what do you think you're doing? Yes, rescue job offers. Isn't that rather tasty? We'll have them all. Those are meant for us, don't butt in. Doesn't matter who does it. Rescue team 2, I'll have you know. But all we get up to is no good. Want to know how it works? If we have the cover of a rescue team, we can get away with so much more. Now we have our eyes on world domination. Yeah, so these 3 are just the cartoonishly evil villains. Like Team Rocket from the anime. Sort of stuff. They're called Team Meanies, so you get about as much out of them as you'd expect. More specifically with Medicham and Ekans. Gengar has a bit more to do later. In fact, he's a little more important. He's actually very important to the story. Much later on, but at the moment, Team Meanies is just sort of in the way. Luckily, we had Pelipper drop something down. Unfortunately, it's still another side mission. Still doing side missions. I think we have one more before we actually get to do something. So yeah, we gotta wait. So yeah, some TMs and moves will still be not very useful. So Taunt isn't very useful. Hidden Power isn't super useful, depending on what type you get. So yeah, you really, it's not so important, the TMs that you get in Kecleon shop, purple Kecleon shop, although do check there often, because sometimes you will get something super useful. And you just think, wow, I need that. You know, if he happens to have Ice Beam in there, get that instantly. Well, get something that you know your characters will be able to utilize. So, you know, I wouldn't get... If he had Shockwave in there, I wouldn't get it because I know that neither of my two characters can use Shockwave. That is kind of annoying when that happens, though, when you see a move that is generally pretty useful. Like, yeah, we'll just use Shockwave as an example again. You know, that's a super useful move, but neither of us can use it, so there's no point in picking it up. So anyway, we only have to go to the 3rd floor to finish this mission this time. So yeah, as you can see, we used the Ginseng earlier to power up our Tackle. I like to use Tackle more often than I'll use my my respective type's move, so I'm not going to be using Bubble as much as I'll use Tackle, because Tackle has more PP, and it doesn't have anything that can be super effective against, so just sort of uses my general move. Oh, so here we go. Zigzagoon wants to join the team. Sure, go ahead. You can join the team. So now it's going to follow us around and act like deadweight because it's not really going to be doing much useful. It's not very strong. I can guarantee you it's about level 6. So, yeah, I won't let it get into fights if I can help it because it's gonna drag me down more than anything else. By dragging me down, I mean it's gonna take my Reviver Seeds and I need those. So, yeah. Caution is advised. Anyway, got a level up there, so it's neat. It's gonna, yeah, it was level 5 when it joined us, so yeah, it's gonna be getting level ups quite often. Oh, here's the destination floor. Oh, it does have the ability pickup. Yeah, Pokemon still have abilities, you know, that they normally would have. So Zigzagoon picked up something, thanks to pickup, and we can take it off its hands. So yeah, abilities work the same way that they normally would. So all the starters have their respective abilities, so you know, Squirtle will have Torrent, which powers up water type moves in a pinch. What else? I think the most, well, yeah, probably the most useful ability that a starter Pokemon can have would be Pikachu, because it would probably have static, which means that, you know, every now and then a Pokemon that's attacking Pikachu will shock itself and be paralyzed and won't be able to attack for a turn, which is very useful. Especially if it's just something that you really don't want to deal with. There are a few Pokemon like that in this game that you just really don't want to deal with. There haven't really been any so far that I can think of, and obviously how much you want to deal with them depends on your situation, you know, the Pokemon you have and the moves you have, all of that. So yeah, there isn't really too much that we can't really deal with so far. Obviously if we were Grass type that would be different. I think potentially the best team composition you could have is something like Pikachu as your main, because electric types are pretty useful in this game, and either Cyndaquil, Charmander, or Torchic as your partner. You know, because they can. They also have a decent amount of type resistance in this game. And probably the worst you could get is 2 grass types. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's going to be happening a lot throughout the rest of this visit. Is these 2 Zigzagoons constantly leveling up. Which is very annoying. Especially because we're never going to use them again. So we still have bubbles, so we can still snipe things from far away, which is fun.